When my daughter-in-law told me to leave, I smiled instead of crying. I was standing near the kitchen counter that morning. The sun was coming through the window in thin golden lines. It fell across the steel plate where I had just placed fresh chapatis. Priya was folding Arjun's school uniform. She looked up at me and said the words very softly. "Auntie, we were thinking maybe it would be better if you had your own place now, nearby only, so you can still come and go. The house feels a little small these days." Her voice was gentle, almost like she was asking permission to say it. I looked at her kind eyes. Then I looked at the small crack in the wall behind her that we had meant to repair for 2 years. I felt something tight inside my chest, but I did not let it show on my face. I smiled. A small, quiet smile. The kind you give when you want the other person to feel okay. "It's all right, Beta," I said. "I understand. Children are growing. Everyone needs space. You are right." She looked relieved, then a little guilty. She came closer and touched my arm lightly. "We will find a nice flat, just 10 minutes away. You can come every day if you want. The children will miss you too much otherwise." I nodded. I kept nodding slowly. Inside my head, the words kept repeating. They will miss me too much otherwise. But the house already felt empty, even though everyone was still here. I turned back to the stove. The tea was boiling. I switched off the flame. The small hiss of steam stopped. The kitchen became very quiet. I carried the tray to the dining table like every other morning. 4 cups, one for Raj, one for Priya, one for Arjun, one for Anjali, and 1 small steel glass for me. I always drank from the steel glass. It reminded me of my village home. My mother used to pour milk in the same kind of glass. I sat down. The chair made a tiny creak. I looked at the empty seats. Raj had already left for office. Arjun and Anjali were still sleeping. It was Sunday. No school, no hurry. Priya sat opposite me. She took her cup. She blew on the tea. Then she spoke again. "We are not sending you away, Auntie. Please don't think like that. It's just, the children need their own room now, and you also deserve peace. You have done so much for us." I looked into my tea. The ginger was floating on top. I stirred it slowly with the spoon, round and round. I did not know what to say, so I said the easiest thing. "I know, Beta. You are right. I have become old. Old people should not take too much space." She quickly shook her head. No, that is not what I mean." But I knew what she meant. Not in a bad way, just in a tired way. A young mother's way. She wanted her house to feel like hers again. Her rules, her timings, her way of raising the children. I understood. Really, I understood. But understanding does not stop the ache. I finished my tea. I stood up. "I will go and wake the children," I said. She smiled a little. "Thank you, Auntie." I walked to their room. The door was half open. Arjun was sleeping with one leg hanging out of the bed. Anjali was curled like a small ball under the blanket. Her hair was all over her face. I stood there for a long minute, just watching them breathe, the rise and fall of their small chests. I felt love so strong it almost hurt. Then I remembered Priya's words again, and the hurt changed shape. It became something heavier, something that sat right on top of my heart. I went close to Arjun first. I touched his forehead softly. "Beta, wake up. It's morning." He opened one eye. "Grandma, 5 more minutes." I smiled again, the same smile I gave Priya. "Okay, 5 minutes only." Then I went to Anjali. I moved the hair from her face. She opened her eyes and smiled sleepily. "Nanny, you are here." "I am always here," I said. But inside I thought, for how many more mornings? I helped them get ready, brushed Anjali's hair, tied it in 2 small ponytails. Arjun wanted his cricket cap even though we were staying home. I adjusted it on his head. He ran to the living room to play on his tablet. I went back to the kitchen. Priya was washing the cups. I stood beside her. We worked in silence for some time, only the sound of water and plates. After a while, she spoke. "You are not upset, are you?" I shook my head. "No, Beta, I am not upset. It was not a lie. I was not angry. I was not shouting inside. I was only sad. A deep, slow sadness, like when the sun sets and the light slowly leaves the room." I dried my hands on the towel. Then I said, "I will go to my room for some time." She nodded. "Okay, take rest." I walked to my small room at the end of the corridor. It used to be the storeroom before I came. They cleaned it and put a bed for me. A steel almirah, a small table near the window. I liked that window. It looked out to the small garden I had planted. Marigolds mostly, some tulsi, a rose bush that never gave many flowers. I sat on the bed. My hands were in my lap. I looked at them. The skin was thin now, veins showing blue, small brown spots here and there. These hands had cooked thousands of meals, washed thousands of clothes, held 2 small babies when they were new, wiped their tears, clapped when they danced. These hands had done everything a grandmother's hands are supposed to do, and now they felt empty. I looked around the room. My things were few. 3 saris hanging in the almirah, 1 photo of my husband on the table. He was smiling in that photo, young, strong. I talked to that photo sometimes when no one was listening. "See what happened, G?" I whispered. "They want their house back." The photo just smiled. He never answered, but somehow it felt like he was listening. I lay down on the bed, not to sleep, just to rest my back. The fan was slow. It made a small clicking sound every round. Outside, I could hear Arjun laughing at something on his tablet. Anjali was singing a nursery rhyme. Priya was probably in the kitchen again. Everything was normal. Everything was the same, but nothing felt the same anymore. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in many years, a tear slipped out. Just one. It rolled down my cheek and fell on the pillow. I did not wipe it. I let it stay there, like a small proof that I was still feeling something. I thought about the first day I came to this house, 10 years ago. My husband had passed only 6 months before. The nights were long, the days were longer. Raj came to my old house one evening. He sat on the charpai beside me. He held my hand. "Ma," he said, "come live with us. The children need their daddy, and I need my mother close." I cried that day too, but those were different tears. Happy tears, grateful tears. I packed a small steel trunk, 2 suitcases, some photos, my husband's old wristwatch, and I came here. When I entered this house, Priya hugged me, really hugged me, not the polite kind of hug, the real kind. She said, "Auntie, this is your home now. You are not a guest here." The children were small then. Arjun was 3, Anjali was 1. They ran to my legs. They pulled my sari. "Nani, Nani." I picked them up one by one. I kissed their cheeks. I felt alive again. That first night, I cooked for everyone. Simple dal chawal, but with extra ghee, the way my mother taught me. We sat on the floor because the dining table was small then. Raj ate like he was a child again. Priya said the dal was perfect. The children made faces at the spice, but still ate. After dinner, Raj touched my feet. He said, "Thank you for coming, Ma." I blessed him. I blessed Priya. I blessed the sleeping children. That night, I slept without dreams. For the first time in months, I felt I belonged somewhere again. Now, 10 years later, I was lying on the same bed, in the same house, but I did not belong the same way. The tear dried on my cheek. I opened my eyes. The ceiling fan was still turning. Click, click, click. I sat up slowly. I looked at the photo of my husband again. I spoke to him in my mind. I smiled, G. I did not cry in front of her. I kept peace. But inside, it hurts. I stood up. I opened the almirah. I took out my oldest sari, the green one with small yellow flowers. My husband had bought it for our first anniversary. I touched the border. It was soft from so many washes. I folded it again, kept it back carefully. Then I walked to the window. I opened it wider. Fresh air came in. It smelled of wet soil. Someone had watered the plants. I looked.
My name is Meera. I turned 75 last monsoon. No big celebration, just a small cake that Anjali helped Priya bake. They put one extra candle for good luck. I blew it out slowly. Everyone clapped. I smiled then too. But that was before the kitchen talk, before the words that changed the air in the house. I was born in a village called Kotli Kalan, far from here. 3 hours by bus, if the roads are good. My father was a school teacher. He taught me to read before I was 6. My mother taught me everything else. How to light the chulha without burning my fingers, how to roll perfect rotis, how to listen when someone is hurting, even if they don't say it. I married at 19. My husband Devinder was 23. He worked in a small cloth shop in the city. We rented one room above a tailor. The fan made more noise than air, but we were happy. We had Raj after 3 years. I remember the night he was born. Rain was falling hard. The midwife came running with her black bag. When I first held him, he was so small. His fingers curled around my thumb. I promised him then, I will always keep you safe. I kept that promise every day. I woke at 5, made tea for Devinder, packed Raj's tiffin, walked him to school holding his hand. In the afternoon, I helped with homework. He was good at numbers, bad at sitting still. I used to say, Beta, one day you will build big things. He laughed. Only if you make me paranthas every morning, ma. When Raj finished college, he got a job here in the city. Good salary, stable company. Then he met Priya. She was in the same office, accounts department, quiet girl, always smiling. Raj brought her home one Sunday. She wore a simple yellow salwar kameez. She touched my feet. Auntie ji, namaste. I held her hands. You are very welcome, beta. They married 2 years later. Small wedding, 100 people only. I wore the same green sari I still keep in the almirah. I cried when they took pheras. Happy tears. Devinder was already gone by then. Heart attack. Quick. No time to say goodbye. I missed him standing beside me that day, but I felt he was watching, smiling. After the wedding, Raj and Priya took a small flat, 2 bedrooms, one for them, one for guests. I stayed in my old place, visited every weekend, brought homemade achar, pickled mango, pickled lemon. Priya loved the lemon one. She said it reminded her of her nani. When Arjun was born, everything changed again. Small baby, lots of crying at night. Raj called me one evening. Ma, can you come for a few days? Priya is very tired. I came the same night, bus, then auto. I reached at midnight. Priya opened the door with tears in her eyes. She hugged me tight. Auntie, thank God you came. I stayed 1 month, then another. Then it became permanent. Raj said, Ma, why go back? This is your home now. The baby needs you. We need you. Priya nodded. Please stay. So I stayed. They shifted me into the small room at the back. It was full of boxes before. Old clothes, broken toys. They cleared it in one day. Brought a new bed, single, with a good mattress. Priya put fresh bed sheets, white with small blue flowers. She said, now it looks like your room, auntie. The first morning I woke up here, I felt strange. Not a guest, not exactly family head either, something in between. But when Arjun cried at 4 in the morning, I went to him, picked him up, patted his back. He stopped crying in 2 minutes. Priya came to the door, sleepy eyes, grateful smile. You are magic, auntie. That became our routine. I woke early, made tea for everyone, ginger cardamom for Raj, plain for Priya, milk with little sugar for the children when they grew bigger. I swept the house, watered the plants, made breakfast, poha sometimes, paranthas on weekends, upma when Priya wanted something light. When Anjali came, 2 years after Arjun, the house became fuller. More noise, more laughter, more small feet running. I held both of them now, one on each side, took them to the park, pushed the swing, bought them balloons, told them stories. The one about the clever crow, the one about the talking mango tree. They listened with big eyes. Again, Nani, again. Priya went back to work after 6 months. Part-time first, then full. I became the day mother. Picked them from bus stop, helped with homework, made them eat fruits, told them to wash their hands before eating. Priya came home tired. I had dinner ready, hot, fresh. She always said thank you. Sometimes she sat with me in the kitchen while I cleaned. She told me about her boss, about a difficult client. I listened, gave small advice. Beta, patience is the biggest strength. She smiled. You should write a book, auntie. Raj worked longer hours. He came home at 9 sometimes, 10 sometimes. I waited for him, made fresh chapati when he arrived. He ate quietly. Then he looked at me and said, Ma, you are the reason this house runs. I waved my hand. No, beta, you and Priya are doing everything. I just help a little. But inside, I felt warm, needed, wanted. Festivals were the best times. Diwali, we cleaned the house together. I made besan laddu. Priya made chocolate modak. The children drew rangoli. Messy but beautiful. Raj bought new clothes for everyone, even for me. A new maroon sari. I wore it and felt young again. Holi, we played with small colors only. Anjali liked pink the best. Arjun put blue on my face. I laughed so much that day. My cheeks hurt. Rakhi, Anjali tied Rakhi on Arjun's wrist, then on Raj. Then she came to me, tied one for Nani too. I said, Nani doesn't need Rakhi. You are already my protection. She hugged me anyway. Birthdays, I always made the cake at home. Simple sponge, no fancy cream, but lots of love. The children blew candles. We sang. Raj took photos. Priya posted some on her phone. Family time, she wrote. Years passed like that. Quiet, warm, full. I never thought it would change. I thought this was forever. Me in the kitchen, children running to me, Priya smiling when she came home, Raj touching my feet every evening. But time does not ask permission. Children grow. They need bigger rooms, more space for their books, their toys, their dreams. Priya's work became bigger. More responsibility, more stress. She started coming home later too. Sometimes she ordered food from outside. I felt a little hurt, but I never said anything. I thought, maybe she needs a break from cooking. The children started preferring games on the tablet, less stories from me, more cartoons. I still sat beside them, watched with them sometimes, but I felt the distance, small, slow, like fog coming in the morning. You don't see it arrive, but suddenly, everything looks different. I kept doing what I always did, waking early, making tea, cooking, cleaning, loving, because that is what I know, that is who I am. But one morning, everything felt a little heavier. The kitchen was the same, the cups were the same, the sunlight was the same, but Priya's words were new. And after that, nothing was quite the same again.
After that morning in the kitchen, the days did not change suddenly. They changed slowly, like a pot of milk left on low flame. You don't see it boiling at first, but little by little the surface moves. Then one day, it spills over. I kept doing everything the same way. Woke at 5, made tea, swept the floor, watered the tulsi plant, but now every small thing felt different, like I was doing it for the last time, even though no one said when I would leave. Priya became more careful around me, more polite. She said please and thank you more often, but the easy chats we used to have, those became shorter. One afternoon, she came into the kitchen while I was chopping onions. I was making aloo matar.
She stood at the door. Auntie, do we have any curd left? Yes, beta, in the fridge, bottom shelf. She opened the fridge, took the bowl, then she said without looking at me, I think from next week we will order groceries online. It saves time. I nodded. Okay. She left the kitchen. I kept chopping. The knife made soft thuds on the board. I thought, maybe she wants to do things her way now, without asking me every time. It hurt a little, but I told myself it was normal. The children started changing too. Not big changes, small ones. Arjun used to run to me first when he came home from school. Grandma, see what teacher gave today? He would show me his notebook. A star, a drawing, a test paper. Now he went straight to his room, put the bag down, took out the tablet. Only after half an hour, he sometimes came to the kitchen. Nani, I'm hungry. I gave him a biscuit or a banana. He ate quickly, then went back. Anjali still came to me sometimes. She would climb on my lap, show me a new dance step she learned, but even she started saying, Mummy said not to eat too many sweets, or Mummy said I should finish homework first. I smiled every time. Of course, beta, listen to Mummy. But inside I felt something shrinking. My place was becoming smaller, not because they pushed me, but because the space I used to fill was being filled by other things, screens, new rules, busy days. One evening, Raj came home early. It was rare those days. He looked tired, eyes red. I made fresh tea. He sat at the table. I sat opposite him. Long day? I asked. He nodded. Very. We sat quietly for some time. Then he said, Ma, Priya told me she spoke to you. I looked down at my hands. Yes. He sighed. It's not that we don't want you here, Ma. It's just the house is small. Arjun needs his own study table now. Anjali's things are everywhere. We thought a separate flat nearby would be better for everyone. I kept looking at my hands. The lines were deeper now. I understand, beta. He reached across the table, touched my hand. You have given us everything, Ma. We will never forget that. I smiled, the same quiet smile. I know. He stood up, went to change. I stayed at the table. The tea in his cup became cold. I did not drink mine either. That night I could not sleep well. I lay on my bed, fan turning slowly above me. Click, click, click. I thought about all the small moments that had started to feel different, like the time I suggested Arjun should play outside more. He was always on the tablet. His eyes looked red sometimes. I said gently, Beta, go play cricket with friends. Fresh air is good. Priya heard me. She said from the next room, Auntie, the park is far now, and there are too many cars. The tablet has educational games. It's fine. I said nothing more, but I worried, quietly. Another time Anjali had a cough. I made tulsi adrak tea for her, the way my mother used to make. Priya saw it. She smiled but said, Thank you, Auntie, but the doctor gave medicine. We should not mix too many things. I poured the tea for myself instead, drank it slowly. It tasted bitter that day. There were more moments like that, small, not fights, just differences. I suggested less salt in the food. Priya said the children like it this way. I wanted to take them to the temple on Saturday. Priya said weekends were for rest and homework. I wanted to teach Anjali how to make roti. Priya said she would learn when she's older. Each time I stepped back, I told myself, this is her mother. She knows best now. But every step back made the space between us bigger. Not angry space, just empty space. One Sunday we all sat for lunch together. It used to be my favorite time. Everyone at the table, laughing, talking. That day it was quiet. Arjun was eating fast, wanted to go back to his game. Anjali was playing with her spoon. Raj was checking his phone. Priya was serving. I looked around. I said softly, Remember last Diwali? We made so many laddus. Arjun ate 10. Arjun looked up, smiled a little. Yeah. Priya said, This year we will order sweets. Easier. I nodded. Of course. The table became quiet again. Only the sound of spoons on plates. After lunch, I cleared the table alone, washed the dishes, wiped the counter. The kitchen felt bigger than before, even though nothing had moved. In the evening, Priya came to my room. She sat on the edge of the bed. Auntie, I was thinking we can start looking at flats next week. There's one in the next society. One bedroom, small balcony. You will like it. I looked at her. Her face was soft, worried. She did not want to hurt me. I could see that. I said, "Whatever you think is best, beta." She touched my hand. "We love you. This is not goodbye, just a little change." I smiled. "I know." She left. I sat there for a long time, looking at the photo of my husband. He was still smiling. I whispered, "It's happening, G. Slowly, but it is happening." Outside the window, the sky turned orange, then pink, then dark. The children's laughter came from the living room, but it sounded far away, like it was coming from another house. I stood up, walked to the almirah, opened it, took out one sari, folded it neatly, then another. I started separating my clothes, the ones I would take, the ones I would leave, small piles, small decisions. My heart felt heavy, but I did not cry, not yet, because the real pain was still coming.
The real moment came on a Tuesday. Not a special day, no festival, no birthday, just an ordinary Tuesday in the middle of September. The sky was heavy with clouds. It had rained in the morning. The air still smelled wet and clean. I woke up the same way I always did. 5 o'clock, made tea, but my back was hurting more than usual. A dull ache that started from the lower part and went up to my shoulders. I had felt it for weeks, but I never said anything loud, just took one tablet sometimes when no one was looking. That morning I moved slower. The kettle took longer to boil, or maybe it just felt that way. Priya came into the kitchen at 6:30. She saw me holding the counter edge. "Auntie, are you okay?" I straightened up quickly. "Yes, Beta, just a little stiffness. It will go." She looked worried. "You should see the doctor today. Raj can take you in the evening." I nodded. "Okay." But inside, I already knew what the doctor would say. Rest, medicine, maybe some physiotherapy. Nothing new. Old age does not come with surprises. Raj came home at 7 that evening. He changed quickly. Then he said, "Ma, let's go. The clinic is open till 8. Priya stayed with the children. We took an auto. The ride was quiet. Rain started again. Small drops on the plastic sheet. I watched them roll down. Like small tears no one noticed. The doctor was the same one we always went to, Dr. Sharma, kind man, white hair. He checked my blood pressure, listened to my chest, pressed my back gently. Then he sat down. "Miraji, it's the usual, age-related wear and tear. The spine is compressing a little. You need complete rest for some weeks. No heavy lifting, no bending too much, no standing long in the kitchen." I listened, nodded. Raj asked questions. How long rest? What medicine? Any injection? Dr. Sharma wrote the prescription. Then he looked at me. "Miraji, you have to take it easy now. Let the young ones handle more." I smiled. "I will try." On the way back in the auto, Raj was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Ma, maybe this is a sign. You should not strain yourself anymore. The flat we saw last week, it's ready. Small, but on ground floor. No stairs, lift also there. You can rest properly there." I looked out at the wet road, streetlights shining in puddles. I said softly, "You think so?" He nodded. "Yes. Priya and I talked. We think it's time." I did not answer right away. I just watched the rain. The drops were bigger now, hitting the roof hard. When we reached home, Priya had dinner ready. Simple khichdi, because she knew my stomach was upset sometimes. The children were already eating in front of the TV. Arjun waved. "Grandma, come fast." I sat with them for a few minutes, watched them eat. Then I said I was not very hungry. I went to my room, closed the door softly, sat on the bed. My back hurt more now, but that was not the worst pain. I opened the small drawer of the table, took out my husband's watch, held it. The glass was cracked in one corner, but the face still showed the time it stopped. 3:47. The time his heart stopped. I spoke to him in my mind. "G, today they said it clearly. It's time. Not because they don't love me, but because I'm becoming a burden, even if they never say that word." No answer came. Only the rain outside and the fan clicking above. I lay down, not to sleep, just to let the ache settle. My thoughts went back, far back, to the day Raj was born, to the day he first said Ma, to the day he brought Priya home, to the day Arjun called me Nani for the first time, to all the nights I rocked Anjali when she had fever, to all the mornings I stood at the bus stop waving. Those memories were warm, but now they felt far, like photographs in an old album. You can look at them, but you cannot step inside them again. I thought about the children. They were growing so fast. Arjun almost as tall as my shoulder now, Anjali's hair reaching her waist. They still loved me, I knew that, but their world was becoming bigger. School, friends, games, tuitions, their first worries, their small secrets. They ran to Priya with those now, not to me, not always. And that was right. A mother is the first person. I was second, always had been, but I forgot sometimes. I thought second could feel like first if you loved enough. That night, something broke inside. Not loudly, not with noise, quietly, like a dry leaf falling from a tree. One moment it was attached, the next moment it was on the ground. I understood, really understood, that my time in the center of this house was over, not because anyone hated me, not because of anger, but because life moves, children grow, mothers get tired, houses become small, bodies become weak. I was no longer the one they needed every day. I was the one they loved, but from a little distance now. The next morning I woke up early again, made tea, but only 3 cups. I did not make mine. I sat at the table alone, looked at the empty chairs. Priya came in, saw the cups, looked at me. "Auntie, you didn't make tea for yourself?" I shook my head slowly. "I'm not thirsty today." She sat down, put her hand on mine. "We will help you shift this weekend. Raj will take leave. We'll pack everything together." I looked at her. Her eyes were soft, a little wet. I said, "Beta, it's okay. I'm ready." And for the first time, the words felt true. Not easy, not painless, but true. I stood up, went to the children's room. They were still sleeping. I stood at the door, watched them. Arjun had kicked off his blanket. Anjali was hugging her teddy. I whispered, "I will always love you, even from the next building." Then I turned, walked back to my room, started folding clothes, one sari at a time, one blouse, one shawl, small pile getting ready to move. The turning point was not the words Priya said in the kitchen. It was not the doctor's advice. It was not even Raj's quiet sentence in the auto. It was the moment I accepted, deep inside, that the house would go on without me in it every day. The tea would still be made, the children would still laugh, the table would still be set, but I would not be the one doing it. And strangely, that acceptance did not break me completely. It hurt, deeply, but it also brought a kind of peace, the peace that comes when you stop fighting what is already happening. I looked at my husband's photo, smiled a real smile this time. Small, but real. Gee, I think I understand now. Loss does not always come with noise. Sometimes it comes softly, like evening coming after a long day. Outside, the rain stopped. A little sunlight came through the clouds. It fell on the marigolds. They looked brighter. I touched the window glass. Cold, but not empty. The hardest part was over. The understanding. What came next was learning to live with it.
The weekend came faster than I expected. Saturday morning, the sky was clear after many days of rain. Sunlight came straight into the house. It made the floor shine. It made everything look a little too bright, like the house was saying goodbye in its own quiet way. Raj took the day off. Priya asked her mother to watch the children for a few hours, so it was just the 3 of us, me, Raj, Priya. We started in my room.
I had already folded most of my clothes into neat piles, 3 small suitcases, 1 steel trunk that came with me 10 years ago. Raj looked at it and smiled a little sadly. "This old trunk has seen a lot, Ma." I nodded. Yes, it carried my whole life once. We worked slowly, no rush, no hurry. Priya wrapped the photo of my husband in soft cloth. She handled it carefully, like it was something precious. She said, "Auntie, we will hang this in your new room first thing." I touched her arm. "Thank you, Beta." We packed the small things, the steel glass I always drank from, the shawl my husband gave me, the old recipe book with yellow pages, handwritten notes in the margins, my handwriting from when my hands were steadier. Priya looked at one page. "Gajar ka halwa, extra cardamom." She smiled. "I will try to make it exactly like this one day." I said, "You already make it better than me." She shook her head. "No one makes it like you." We finished by afternoon. The room looked empty. Just the bed, the almirah, the table. No more saris hanging, no more small things on the shelf. It felt strange, like the room had forgotten me already. Raj carried the suitcases to the car. Priya helped with the trunk. I walked behind them, carrying only my small purse. Inside it, my medicines, some cash, the watch. The children came back just as we were leaving. Arjun ran to me. "Nani, where are you going?" I bent down, kissed his forehead. "To a new house, Beta. Very close. You can come any time." Anjali held my sari. "Will you still tell stories?" I pulled her close. "Every time you come. Promise." Priya knelt beside them. "Grandma's new house has a balcony. We will visit every weekend, and she will come here too." Arjun looked at the suitcases, then at me. His eyes were big. He did not cry, but his lip trembled a little. I hugged them both together, tight, for a long time. I smelled their hair. Arjun smelled like cricket ball and sweat. Anjali smelled like baby soap and crayons. I closed my eyes, saved that smell inside me. Then we left. The drive was short, 10 minutes. The new building was nice. White walls, small lift, ground floor flat, number 102. Raj opened the door. It smelled of fresh paint. 1 bedroom, small hall, kitchen with a window, balcony just big enough for 2 chairs. Priya had already arranged a few things. New bedsheets, blue ones, a small curtain with flowers, a pressure cooker on the gas, some dal and rice in containers. She said, "I stocked a little food so you don't have to go out immediately." I looked around. It was quiet, very quiet. No children running, no Raj's footsteps, no Priya's voice from the kitchen. But it was clean, peaceful, mine. We unpacked slowly, put the photo on the table near the window. My husband smiled at the new view. A small park outside, some children playing, a few trees. Raj fixed the fan. Priya arranged the clothes in the cupboard. When everything was done, they stood there, not sure what to say. I broke the silence. "Beta, thank you for everything." Raj's eyes became wet. He came close, touched my feet. "Ma, this is not goodbye. We are just next door, almost." I blessed him, put my hand on his head. "Stay happy, take care of them." Priya hugged me, long hug. She whispered, "I'm sorry, Auntie, if it hurt." I held her face. "Look at me. You did what is right, for the children, for the house, for you." I smiled. "I'm proud of you." She cried then, quiet tears. I wiped them with my sari palo, like I used to wipe Anjali's. They left after tea. I made tea in the new kitchen, small stove, new kettle. The tea tasted the same, ginger and cardamom, but the cup felt different. I sat on the balcony. Evening came, sky turned orange, children's voices from the park. I watched them run, laughed a little when one fell down and got up again. That first night, the bed was new, mattress a little hard. I missed the old creak of the fan. But I slept, deep sleep. No dreams, no worries. Days passed. 1 week, 2 weeks. I made a small routine. Woke up at 6 now, not 5. Made 1 cup of tea, sat on the balcony, watered the 2 pots Priya brought. Marigolds again. They bloomed quick. Raj called every evening. "How are you, Ma? Everything okay?" I said yes. Always yes. Priya sent food sometimes, a container of sabji or halwa. The children came on Sundays. Arjun showed me his cricket scores. Anjali danced for me. I clapped, told stories. The old ones. They still listened. Sometimes they stayed longer, played on the balcony. I watched them. My heart felt full again. Different full. Not the same as before, but still full. I started going to their house too, twice a week, helped with small things, folded clothes, made tea. But I did not stay long. I came back to my quiet place. I learned something important. Love does not end when distance starts. It changes shape, becomes softer, more patient, less demanding. I forgave myself, too, for holding on too tight sometimes, for giving advice when it was not asked, for thinking I was still needed the same way. They forgave me, too, though they never said it in words. They showed it, in visits, in calls, in small messages. "Ma made your aloo paratha today, came out good." Or, "Nani, Arjun got A+ in math. He said it's because of your stories about numbers." I smiled every time. Real smiles now, not just the ones to keep peace. My back still hurt sometimes. I took rest, took medicine, walked in the small park, met other old people. We talked, shared tea, shared stories. Life became slower, simpler, but not empty. One evening, 3 months after I moved, the phone rang. It was Priya. "Auntie, can you come tomorrow? Arjun has a school function. He wants you there." I said yes, of course. Next day, I wore my maroon sari, the one Raj gave me long ago. Went early, sat in the front row, clapped loudest when Arjun came on stage. He looked at me, waved, smiled big. After the function, we all went home together, to their house. I sat at the old table, Priya served food, Raj poured water, children talked non-stop. I looked around. The house was the same, but different too. New curtains, new photos on the wall, including one of me with the children, taken last Diwali. I felt something lift inside me, a weight I carried for months. I was not the center anymore, but I was still part of the circle, a warm part, a loved part. That night when I came back to my flat, I sat with my husband's photo. I said softly, "Gee, I think I'm okay now." It hurt, a lot, but I understand, and understanding makes the hurt smaller. I slept peacefully. The fan in the new room no longer clicked. It turned smooth, like my thoughts. The loss was real, but so was the love that stayed, and that was enough.
Now the days pass gently. I wake when the light feels ready to come in, not at 5 anymore. Sometimes 6, sometimes 6:30. The body tells me when it is time. I make 1 cup of tea, ginger and cardamom still. I carry it to the balcony, Sit on the plastic chair Priya bought. Watch the park. Children come early now, some with school bags already on their backs. They run, they laugh. One small boy always kicks a red ball against the wall. Thud, thud, thud. I count the kicks sometimes. It makes me smile. The marigolds are blooming again, bright orange. I water them every morning, talk to them a little. Good morning, beta log. They don't answer, but they stand tall. That is enough. The phone rings most evenings. Raj's voice first. Ma, how was your day? I tell him small things. I walked to the market today, bought fresh methi, made saag, tasted good. He listens. Then he says, we miss your saag, ma. I laugh softly. Then come one day, I will make extra. Priya calls sometimes too, or sends a message. Arjun got first in drawing competition. Attached is a photo. A colorful house with a big sun and two stick figures holding hands. One has white hair. I know it is me. I save the photo, look at it before sleeping. The children come on Sundays, sometimes Saturday too if there is no tuition. They bring drawings, they bring stories from school. Anjali tells me about her new friend. Her name is Zoya, she shares her crayons. Arjun shows me cricket videos on his phone. Look, Nanny, this is how you hit a six. I watch, I clap. I say, you will hit bigger sixes one day. We sit together, sometimes on the balcony, sometimes inside. I tell them old stories. The clever fox, the patient tortoise, the talking parrot who saved the village. They listen, not always quietly, sometimes they interrupt. Again this one, Nanny? I smile. Okay, new one next time. But they still come close. Anjali sits on my lap sometimes. Arjun leans against my chair. Their warmth fills the small room. It is different from before. Not every day, not every meal, but when it happens, it is real, deep, enough. I go to their house too, not every day, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. I ring the bell. Priya opens the door, always with a smile. Come in, auntie. I step inside. The smell is the same. Spices, children, home. I don't go to the kitchen first anymore. I sit in the hall, talk to the children, help with small homework if they ask. Priya makes tea now. She brings it to me. We sit together sometimes, talk about small things. Her work, the children's school, my walks in the park. No big talks, no heavy things, just easy words, like old friends. One evening last month, Raj came alone. No Priya, no children. He sat on the other chair on the balcony. We watched the sunset. Orange, pink, purple. He said quietly, Ma, I was scared you would be angry. I looked at him. Why angry, beta? Because we asked you to leave. I shook my head slowly. I was never angry. Hurt, yes, for some days. But angry, no. He looked down. We should have talked more, listened more. I put my hand on his. You did what was needed. The house was small, the children were growing. I understand now. He looked up, eyes a little red. You are still our strength, Ma. I smiled. And you are still my son. We sat until the sky turned dark. No more words needed. The silence was kind. Now I sit here many evenings, alone, but not lonely. I think about everything that happened. The first day I came to their house, the laughter, the meals, the small fights that were never fights, the misunderstandings, the quiet shifts, the doctor's words, the packing, the moving, the new quiet, and the love that never left. It just changed rooms, changed shape, became visits, became calls, became photos on the phone, became small hellos at the door. I understand my loss now. It was real. The day I moved, no one was left in that house to call me first thing in the morning. No small feet running to my room. No, Nani, tea. No, Ma, where is my shirt? But loss is not the end of love. It is the end of one way of loving and the beginning of another. I learned to love from a little farther away, to wait for them to come, to not expect every day to be full, to find fullness in small things, a phone ring, a drawing, a hug on Sunday, a thank you auntie from Priya. And I learned something about myself too. I was holding on tighter than I knew, not because I was selfish, but because I was afraid of being alone again, afraid of the empty rooms after Devinder left, afraid that if I stepped back, I would disappear. But I did not disappear. I am still here, still loved, still needed, just in a quieter way. Life has taught me this slowly, with soft hands, not with hard lessons. It taught me to listen more, to speak less advice, to give space, to forgive quickly, to say thank you often, to smile even when the heart is heavy, and most important, to keep loving, even when the shape of love changes. Family is not about being under one roof forever. It is about being in each other's hearts, even when the roofs are different, even when the mornings are separate, even when the tea is made for one. The day I understood my loss, there was no one to call first thing in the morning. But now, I don't need to call. They call me, they come, they remember, and I am here, waiting with open arms, with tea ready, with stories ready, with love ready, always ready. If I could say one thing to anyone listening, it would be this. Cherish the days when the house is full, when the table has many plates, when the voices overlap, when the kitchen is noisy, when small hands hold yours. But when the time comes for change, don't fight it with anger, don't hold with force. Let it happen, with tears if you must, but also with grace. Give space, give love without chains, give understanding, because in the end, what remains is not the number of days we lived together, it is the love we carried forward, even across buildings, even across silences, even across years. Love does not need the same address forever, it just needs a place in the heart, and that place no one can take away. I look at the stars now, small lights far away, but still shining. I whisper to my husband, "Good night, Ji, tomorrow is another day," and I sleep, peacefully, with hope, with warmth, with no regrets, because I loved well and I was loved well, and that is the only thing that matters.